All right. Hello, everybody. This is Tim of Tim's Sporting Channel, also known as Big Willie Bassin. Just thought I would go in a couple of things this year. I'm going to do a lot of kayak tournaments. At least I'm going to try to, with my schedule being a little crazy. I'm going to try and get out there and do some month-long tournaments, and which are the online tournaments for OKBF, and try and get to a couple of real tournaments. The reason why I'm making this video is because when I bought my first kayak here, it's a Riot Mako 12, I did a lot of online looking, and this video is going to be mainly out to those guys that are big like me, that are trying to maybe try some kayak fishing or looking for a really good kayak for the first time and get out there and do some fishing, because that's what it's all about, right? Fishing. And one of the things that I noticed right away is you can get overloaded with so many different kayaks out there. I mean, you've got all the Hobies, top of the line. You've got some of the others I can't think of off the top of my head, but numerous others that are out there. And so what I was looking for, because I'm a big guy, I'm 270, 275 and some change, and 6 foot, I needed something that I knew could handle, number one, my weight, and number two, would be sturdy and stable for me to, I don't stand on it. I'm still sketchy about standing on it, but this kayak, after I did a lot of research, I found out it was in my budget. They're still running about $1,500 to $1,800. It's over 12. It's a little bit over 12 feet, and it's actually really stable. Believe it or not, I've had minor issues, but they're mainly maintenance things that I because I was going out after I worked a graveyard shift and fishing for about 2 to 3 hours, and I put in, I think I calculated over 40 something hours or 50 something hours of fishing, and did pretty well. I'm pretty impressed about the mobility of the kayak, as well as it's not as heavy as some of the others. I'm running about 80 pounds I have minimal stuff on it. That was one of the things I learned, is some of the kayaks can get, the 10 footers. I mean, obviously couldn't fit on a 10 footer. I need a 12 footer. That's when you start to get into more weight. These things start weighing a little bit more. I have a truck, and I have the trolley wheels that I put it on, and I wheel it from my garage to my truck. Most of the time my wife moves her car, and then I'll just wheel it out to my truck and push it in. So a couple of things I learned last year. Number one was, I started to carry more and more stuff over the time, and more rods, and I started to realize, man, I don't need 7 rods. I mean, for some people that do a lot of tournament fishing, I see those guys doing 7, 8 rods. I really don't need that many. About 4 and I'm good. 5 total, and that's great. Then you got to worry about low hanging trees and stuff when you're on the river, and so I've had a couple of almost lost rods, but I saved them. But anyway, back to the kayak itself. This is a pretty stable kayak, and some of the reviews that I saw were 4 or 5 years old, 6 years old, whatnot. I guess Mako has changed every year, just like every other company. They change and add something, take away, add something, a little more, something for mobility, something more for comfort and feel, and some for, obviously, carrying more weight. So this one here carries about 450 pounds. So that, obviously my weight, and I think most of my gear is maybe another 60, 70 pounds total, if that, and that's give or take. It's a pedal drive. So it was one of the ones I could see that was, number one, it was within my budget. Number two, it was a pedal drive. Number three, I went to Next Adventure Kayaks, and they are really cool. They're I went to Northeast Portland, met with Matt Walker. He walked me through, showed me several different kayaks, and then I just found myself falling in pretty much in love with this one right away. It was in my budget, like I said, and for the most part, I see a trend now. The kayaks are getting more expensive. There's more videos on YouTube about how to outfit it, what to outfit it with, put a motor on it, not a motor. You can do pretty much anything you want to with these things. Maintenance is super low. I cleaned this up really well the other day, and I actually got online and found a really good product. This product right here, I don't know if you can see that. That product right there is amazing. Just need a little little towel and going over different areas and clean them up. It turned out really well. I took it out about last week and just took it outside and just wiped everything down and checked all my screws and just did pretty much like a maintenance check real quick, getting ready for the season this year. So anyway, back to what I was saying. A lot of the kayaks out there, are pretty doggone cool, and I just thought, man, I don't want anything I have to go buy a trailer and tow it behind my truck. I can just slide it in the bed of my truck, slide it right out, put the dolly wheels on it, put my gear on it, get my fishing rods all set up, I got my fish finder, and got everything all set up and ready to go, and I can just wheel it down, get my life vest on, get my flag up, my yak flag. These things are a must, right? These are awesome. Got that up, and pretty much I'm ready to go. Got everything set up. So I learned a couple of things. One, I had a bag. I'm not going to get it because it's kind of buried. I had a bag that my wife got me for Christmas, and it's a Plano soft bag, gray. It has the two flaps on the side that unzip, and you could put tackle boxes, little small ones in there, and then you put all your big ones in the middle. And it's got a carry handle, which is really cool. The downside I learned is don't ever open that up and forget that you opened it up and have it in the back right here. I lost a couple tackle boxes, unfortunately, small ones, full of a lot of my jig heads for Ned rig and some other things. But that was my kind of stupidity on that part, but I take that in stride. It was something I learned from. But anyways, this kayak, I'm going to tell you right now, I've got it outfitted with stickers, got a couple of people that sponsor me, and it's been pretty cool to take out and fish. I have noticed, just little things that I've had to kind of maintenance. The rudder over here, I've had to, I think you can see it in the camera, adjust it just a little bit. Right here, I've had to check on these. These are important to double check. One time I went out and it was loose, and obviously this is for my rudder. Luckily I carry some extra parts with me, screws, nuts and bolts and stuff, and I was encouraged to do that. I actually had a bolt and some tape, and I managed to tape it up and get a screw on well enough to keep me, get me out there fishing, because it was a day I had to get out and fish for the online tournament. So the Riot Mako kayaks have a little bit of a bad reputation, I guess. Some of the older ones had a lot of problems with the steering and the rudder cables too tight as you steer, and some of the plastic itself would break loose, and like where the seat was at. But they did a really good job with this one. This is a 2018 model. I got lucky, I found orange, which is pretty cool. I call it Orange Crush, so I'm known as Orange Crush. If you fish up here in the Upper Willie, in Oregon here, you'll see this bad boy out here. You'll see me, this is Orange Crush, so know me as Orange Crush out there from Tim's Sporting Channel, Big Willie Bassin. All right, so one of the things I did is I looked around at how I was carrying my tackle, and I actually realized that this box, this Yak Attack box, man, I'm going to tell you right now, these are a must. I wish I had bought one the first time around. Perfect, got handles on it. Took me a little while to put it together because I'm not one to follow instructions. But man, it's perfect. So far I haven't used it yet, but the way I've got it outfitted is 2 on the side and 1 on the back. Fits perfectly. It's a 13 by 13. Fits perfect back here, and no issues. Okay, back to the kayak. Like I said, I went and got a measurement. I've got the Hobie mount for recording the times or the place I'm fishing, which is really cool. Good investment. The catch board itself was a good investment. It has holes here, so I just went and grabbed some cord, pinched it, wrapped it around. I have a carabiner around the bottom of the seat to keep it in place, so that way I don't ever lose it. I've had a couple of times where I've learned, and again, trial and error with a lot of the kayak fishing. For me, it was a first for me. I'd always been like, man, I'll never get on a kayak. You know, I'll never do it. It's out of my realm. I'm not comfortable with it. Man, I've been pretty satisfied with this for what I spent on it. I got it for $1,500, and like I said, I got it Next Adventure. Get a hold of Matt Walker. He's a great guy up there. Also a kayak fisherman. He has the Hobie. He has a really nice kayak. But for me, this fit my budget. Take a look at these. They come in a 10 and a 12 and a 14. Obviously, you get to a 14, you're getting to, you know, it's a 2-seater tandem, so you can have another person on there. And I know the other ones are the Van Hines and all those others that are out there. The one with Spot Lock from Hobie. I mean, they're freaking awesome. They are awesome. They're all awesome kayaks, really. Ascent, all those ones, they're really good kayaks. I mean, you could go through, I went through hours and hours of YouTube to find the best kayak for the money, and for each year there's always like someone on there that has like the best 10 of the year, best 5 of the year, and this was in one of the top 5 to get. Now I've seen comparisons with this kayak and a few others. Obviously, I mean, I have a steering system on it. I have a lot of things on it that I put on myself. I've got my fish finder right here, the Garmin. I'm gonna pick up the camera and move it. I've got the Garmin fish finder right here. I mounted it on the bottom, the base right here. Okay, here's my fish finder arm. As you can see, it's got a lot of room. I mean, you can tell I put some hours on it. I hit some things on it, but this pedal drive, pretty doggone impressive. I mean, I can move pretty good on it. And I'm telling you right now, I highly recommend these. I'm not sponsored by them. I want to let you know that first. I'm not sponsored by anything to do with Riot Mako, but what I will say is a lot of what, sorry, I'm getting the camera. A lot of what I've learned is through trial and error. I picked up a really good Chinook 2XL PDF. I'm having a brain fart, sorry. A lot of things going on in my world right now. So a lot of the things I put on here, just minimalist things. Like I said, the fish finder. I'm going with the Garmin. I might upgrade here next year something to a little bit bigger fish finder, but it works really well for me. This one works really fine. I know some of the guys are going with the bigger screens and all that stuff and kind of outfit in like a miniature bass boat. That's great. It works. You know, that works for a lot of people. For me, I just want to keep it simple. I use that KISS symbol, keep it simple, stupid. So it works for me. I've got my oar or my paddle on the other side clamped on. I've got a cup holder, and I've got room up front And it's got carry handles, which are really cool. This one's molded, it has the molded carry handle, which is really nice. I've noticed when I actually have to pull it, because I have to pull it uphill. And I'll tell you what, I got a heck of a workout last year pulling it uphill. But for the most part, the Mako 12, good kayak. Like I said, just maintenance things that I have learned that I had to keep a little bit more of an eye on. If you're in a budget of, you know, under 2,000, this is a really good, you know, some guys are saying it's a starter. For me, I'm going to go on to season 2 with this. And I looked at the other kayaks, and now everything is expensive. Everything is, right? I don't see the need for me to upgrade to another kayak since I've got this one outfitted the way I like it. And if I want to put a motor on it, I actually have room to put a motor. I can run it through the pedal system right in the front, or I can run it off of the rudder in the back. Let's see what I want to say. Here's next. I would say just take your time if you're looking for your first time kayak. A lot of people out there have a lot of opinions, which is great. Everybody's got an opinion. That's cool. But really, just take your time. If you're getting into kayak fishing, I strongly recommend, honestly, if you want to get into some fish, get into some nice secret areas and sneak up on fish, kayaks are the way to go. I mean, they are really awesome. I fished out of a pontoon boat. I still have it for years, a little one-man pontoon boat, and that's a lot of fun. It's got a motor and all that stuff on it, and they've got it pretty much outfitted the way I want it. It's hard to steer sometimes with that kind of thing, and then of course, you know, you're on top of the water, floating on top. It can be a little challenging sometimes, but this here has been very stable for me. I've got rod holders right here, and on the other side, I've got 2 more in the front, so I've got 4 rod holders, not counting the 5 I have back here, which is really cool. Last year, I learned, you know, having them sticking out of the rod holders back here. If I'm fishing and I want to switch up, I just tuck one in the side, and then I use the other one and start fishing with it. It gets it out of the way. Stability, my son's girlfriend actually got on this kayak, and she's quite a bit smaller than me. And she stood up on it, and she told me, she was fishing out of it. She told me it was the most stable thing she's ever been on. And it didn't rock or nothing. We had boats going by and didn't rock one bit. She loved it. She thought it was really fun to be on. So, you know, and when you outfit your kayaks, this is one of the things I learned, is just kind of experiment what works, and just kind of think, if you're on the water, you know, how easy is the access to get to things. This here, I'm going to obviously go through some trial and errors of what I want to grab, how I want to get stuff. I have some things underneath my seat, a couple of little tackle boxes underneath my seat with my jigs that I want. Some of the stuff is, you know, real quick stuff. I got pliers up there. I've got my little net. I've got, you know, like I said, I've got it outfitted the way I put a little underneath the seat, a little, it's like a little storage mesh piece, and I've stuck my pliers. I've got my scale in there, and then another pair of pliers. I carry a knife on the front of my vest, along with a couple of little cords that keep other things in line, like some scissors and some other things. But like I said, you know, going back to the kayak, if you're really looking for a decent kayak for the amount of money, I think Riot Mako makes a very good kayak. I'm very impressed. Maybe if I choose to upgrade, I'm not sure where I'd go, because there's so many different, you know, some of them have it where they're built so they can take a motor in the front. Some have it where they can put a motor in the back. Some have put them on the sides. I mean, it's almost like whatever you want to do, you make it up however you feel comfortable to put it together as far as your kayak. But for the price, I'm very impressed. I wish I had got this had this Yak Attack last year. It would have been a little bit easier. I wouldn't have lost any gear because everything's sealed up, and you can close these up and it locks perfect. It's got the little rod holders right here. Phenomenal idea, really good idea for that. I had some little bungee cords that had the little hooks on them, and I tried doing that with the fishing rods. Man, I had those things all crossed up. It was a mess. I learned that that wasn't a really good idea to do that. A few times I did drop the rod in the water, but I was able to get it back because it was tied off. So like I said, back to the original thing, I built this stand off of some lumber we had on the side of the house and around. So I had to kind of refinish it. I got PVC piping underneath that I can slide the kayak on and off, and I just put wheels on it, so it's real sturdy. This was probably one of the better ideas that I had. One day I just went and did it. Sometimes I have to just get my mind ready to do it and, you know, procrastinate, but when I just go do it, then I know I can get it done, right? That's how it is. So with kayak fishing, you know, it's endless. Add this, add that, put this on, put that on, you know. And if you want to go with bigger screens for you know, for your type of fish finder, hey, you know, knock yourself out. I don't really need it. You know, I don't have a, you know, I have a battery, a little small 12-volt Yak Attack battery that plugs into the fish finder, and it works just fine. Actually, I've been able to fish off it for several days and not have an issue. But I know if you go to a motor, obviously, you know, now you're looking at, if you put lights to on the front or inside, you know, there's a number of things you can do. I think it's always up to the person. If you want to be that creative, you know, there's a few more things you can do. I'm going to do to this. You can do to your kayak, period. You can do a ton of different things. And it's endless, to be honest with you. And, you know, the thing is, too, the maintenance on it is pretty doggone low. Wipe it down, clean it up, check the screws, check your rudder, check your, you know, check for any scratches or, you know, anything that could potentially cause issues. I have scuffed it up on the bottom a few times, dragging it over some rocks, but nothing major. And it has held really well. I had to learn the hard way of getting it on the dolly a few times. Lesson learned. I had to watch some videos and then figure out to find the right area on the kayak to put the wheels on. And it took me a few times, but I finally got it down. So it was one of those things I had to learn the hard way, but man, I enjoy it. And my biggest thing to you guys out there getting into it, man, take a look at these Makos. They're pretty good. They're pretty solid. I'm pretty impressed. These Makos are pretty solid. And for the money, man, I think you won't go wrong. I know there's, like I said, there's a ton of kayaks out there. A lot of them have a lot of different options, and it's going to depend on what options. If you want to put a motor on it, if you don't want to put a motor on it. This is a pedal kayak. I don't know if I mentioned that earlier, but this was one of the cheapest ones I could find that had the pedal on it. A lot of guys I've ran into see my kayak out there, and they're like, wow, man, that's pretty cool. It's pedal drive. I said, yeah. I said, it's one of the few out there that's reasonably priced. And I know if you go to like Fisherman's, I think they sell a version. They sell the Makos, and they're relatively pretty good priced. I know there's another one that's a 10-foot. I think it's more like a little raft, but it's a kayak. It's rubber and it's pretty cool. It's got the same pedal drive. And there's a guy that did a review on it, and it looked pretty awesome. It was pretty cool. I mean, obviously you can't carry a whole bunch of stuff on it. It's like maybe a couple rods and a little small tackle box for the day for a quick trip. Moving this around, I have learned it can be, if I had a lot of stuff on it last year, and this year I'm going to trim it down quite a bit and not carry so many rods. So, you know, obviously carrying the rods, your tackle box, the gear, and all that stuff. I always take my hydro flask with me. I got a little cup holder over there. I'm going to buy another one, so I have 2 cup holders, one for coffee and one for cold water. You know, you outfit it how you want it, and I've had to learn the hard way a few times that, man, it was too heavy. I had too much stuff in it. And once I started trimming down towards the end of the year, I realized, man, you know, I really don't need a whole lot of stuff on it to move it around. And I pull it uphill where I go. And for other areas, I mean, it's, you know, you watch a ton of videos. I follow Greg Blanchard. I follow Brandon Hua, a phenomenal fisherman, both of them. Shout out to both of those guys from Big Willie Bassin, Tim Sporting Channel. You guys are awesome. You guys have really, to be honest with you, Greg Blanchard, shout out to him if he sees this video. He really encouraged me to get out there and try fishing on a kayak, and I think I'm doing all right now. You know, this year we'll see. I'm going to try and do some competitive fishing a little bit more, get into try and do a couple of tournaments with my schedule, providing I get the time. But man, he motivates me a lot. I get to learn a lot about the different, you know, he upgraded to a different kayak. I believe it's the Titan. The Titan series are really nice kayaks. That was my next option had I not got this. Again, you know, it's up to where you're going to fish, what you're going to do with it. You're going to hit more ponds, or you're going to hit rivers, you're going to hit lakes. This one here you can actually take out in the ocean. It's actually rated for that. I don't plan on doing that, to be honest with you. But it can handle it. The bow of it is really nice. I mean, it cuts the waves like crazy. I only had one almost tip over, and that was because I wasn't paying attention. And in my area, there was a lot of wakeboarding boats that were coming by, not slowing down. And unfortunately, we have to deal with that where I'm at. People take their boats out there and just rip and roar, and that's fine and dandy, but you also got to watch the wakes that they leave. They leave some pretty big wakes. So I didn't turn into it like I should have, and it caught me sideways. And actually it was still stable, but I did notice once I started going that I was literally leaning too far over, and I corrected as quick as I could, and I was able to center myself, so no major issues. So that was a good one. Lesson learned. So I've learned a lot of things in this, a lot of things, how to outfit it, how to fish out of it. The pedal drive is really solid. I haven't had a problem, not one problem with my pedal drive. That thing is solid. When I get going, where I'm at, there's a stretch of the river I like to fish that I have to get to the other side pretty quickly if no boats are coming. Even if a boat is coming, I mean, it's orange. You can't miss me. That's, like I said, it's Orange Crush. So, you know, I pretty much get this thing hightailing across the river. I can get across the river in no time. That makes for great exercise. I've noticed that I got a lot of exercise last year, and actually it felt really good to work my legs and upper body at the same time. And when I didn't want to use the pedal, I could just pull it up. It's real easy to pull up and out and situate it up front, lock it in, and then I just use my oars or my oar, and I just oar along, and I'm pretty fine with it. But my biggest thing, back to what I was saying, please check these guys out, Riot Mako. I'm not sponsored by them, but from all the older videos I saw, there was a lot of negative. I know I mentioned it one time on Facebook, and of course, you know, there's all sorts of people, and I'm just throwing this out there. You know, people think Dodge is better than Ford, and they'll think, you know, Nissan's better than all of them, and Toyota is the best. And it's, you know, it really doesn't matter. It's whatever fits your needs. If your need is you got a budget and you want to spend, you know, decent amount of money, it's an investment that I've got here, right? This is an investment. And the way I look at it, I've invested, you know, on top of what I paid for it, the box, you know, fish finder, the Yak Attack battery over here, the block for itself, some other things, the net, the catchboard holder. I think that's actually about it. And I actually have a seat cover that I'm going to put on here too. After a while, and it's just because I'm getting old, that's all it is. The back starts saying, okay, man, I need a little bit of lumbar support. So the seat, actually, to be honest with you, is actually pretty comfortable. I've got it adjusted where I like it. I mean, I'm able to get to the pedals and pedal and not feel uncomfortable as I'm pedaling. Some of the kayaks, I've noticed, you know, the seat is either one level or it's up, and you can adjust it down. This one I like the fact because you lock it in with screws and you just scoot it and lock it in. I check those before I head out to make sure that they're tight and they're not loose. And I think, you know, I've sat on a couple of different kayaks, and I know some of them sit up higher. And there's the old saying that, you know, the higher you sit, you could be a little bit more tippy. Some of them, you know, it gives you a little bit more of a, you know, sit straight up with pushing your back out a little bit, and gives you better posture while you're in the boat. And some others are just, you know, they're just cushiony, but these seats are actually pretty good. And they're not bad. Honestly, they're not bad. They're really good seats. I just want to add a little bit more cushion. I have this for the seat on the bottom. If my butt's sore, I highly recommend these Daiwa seats. It has a little suction, so obviously these are for the kayaks that don't have that you can put a much suction at the bottom. I just put this on my seat and kind of sits me up a little bit and gives me a little bit of cushion on the bottom of the seat. But for the most part, again, back to what I was saying, not to repeat myself a million times, trying not to. Not scripted at all. I'm kind of the guy that I'm on the go, and I just say and get to my my point and try and reiterate a few points. But the Mako 12, check it out, guys. I think it's worth it. If you live here in Oregon, check out Next Adventure. I highly recommend them for any kayak. I mean, they've got a ton of different styles and models and whatever type of fishing. If you don't want the pedal and you just want to oar, they've got great kayaks there that are set up for that. The pedal drives, they carry the Mako. I know when I bought mine, they had one used one and this one. After I bought this one and someone bought the used one, they were gone. But I'm sure they can get more, and I'm sure they have some now. But check them out. I think they're worth the money, and I think it's, you know, if you want to get into some kayak fishing and you're on a budget, like I was on a budget, you know, I felt like I spend my money more on fishing rods, fishing reels, and plastics, and obviously all the accessories that I need. And I said, well, I'm going to find them kind of the middle. I guess that's the best word for it, the middle of the ground. This to me was the middle of the ground. A lot of guys will say, oh, it's the lowest low, you know, it's low, their quality's bad, this and that and the other. Like I said, comparing it to anything else, obviously you're going to have some good pluses here and some others over here that are going to be, well, you know, it doesn't have this, it doesn't have that, it doesn't have this. Take that into consideration. I am comfortable with it. I'm satisfied with it. I like it. I'm going to season 2 with it. If I do upgrade, probably won't be for a while because I want to get out there and fish. My son has a regular kayak with no pedal drive. I can't remember his model, but his is about as long as mine. And he loves kayak fishing, but he has a boat now, so he wants to get the boat out there and spend more time on that. But trying to get him to do 1 or 2 tournaments with me this year. So we'll see how that goes. But if it doesn't work out, no big deal. But I really encourage you guys, check out Riot Mako. They're good. They have them on eBay. Also, there's if you go to Next Adventure, you can go online. And actually, that's how I did mine, is I bought it online. I went and looked at it and made a trip downtown Portland, looked at it. I liked it, paid for it online, went and picked it up the next day, and pretty seamless process. It was really easy. Of course, I got the dolly wheels. I got the best ones that are the bigger wheels, and it actually is better because, like I said, it's about 89 pounds. With my gear, I'm probably pushing you know, somewhere around 100, maybe a little bit over, but that's, you know, I'm not pulling it that far uphill or pulling it across anywhere that far, so it works real good. As a car topper, I don't know. If you're set up for it, it might work, but I just slide it in the back of my truck. I don't have room for a trailer. My son has the boat over on the side, so he's got the trailer. He's got a long trailer. It's a little 14-foot aluminum boat. And so it kind of takes up the room. So this is in the garage, and I wanted to stay away from buying a trailer because I don't have the room to store one. So, but anyways, I hope you enjoyed my video. It's my first of many. I'm going to probably put more out as the year goes on. Hopefully some on the water, some talking about my experience and using different types of baits. We are actually making baits ourselves, which is really, it's an interesting process. and my son is doing an awesome job making some. I've made a few. I want to get in we call it the office here in the garage. Get in here and try and make some baits too that are similar to what we like to use. So man, get out there and fish. That's what I'm going to end this with. I appreciate you checking me out. Please like, follow. I'm going to get more content on here, and I appreciate everybody out there. You know what? We always say, man, get out there and fish. Tim's Sporting Channel, Big Willie Bass, and check us out on Facebook. We have some videos from last year. Had to slow down a little bit. My schedule changed. I don't have any recent videos, but we are going to try and do some more as time goes on this summer. And as we have time, my son and I's schedules are two different things going on right now. So as well as, family things going on. So we're going to try and get more things on Facebook. Please like, follow, share. Man, get me out there. I mean, my goal, it'd be nice to see some people say, hey, man, more content. We like we like what you got to talk about. You're talking about starting out the basics and how you learn things and what processes you went through. Please share. And I hope this isn't too long. It doesn't bore you. But hey, I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you guys have a great afternoon. It's afternoon here. We're going to kick off the season right now, OKBF. First tournament coming up here real soon. I'm not going to be able to participate in that one, but I will participate in the month online tournaments. I plan on I can do a lot of those, if not all of them. I plan on doing that, and I'm going to try and get out there and fish. So if I see you in the water, Tim of Tim's Sporting Channel, Big Willie Bassin. I hope you guys have a great time, and man, hey, fish on. Let's get out there and do it. All right, y'all.